Welcome to our weekly show, Onwards and Upwards, everything a global healthcare worker needs to know about living and working in the United States. I'm your host, Danielle Chasen, and we have a very exciting show for you this morning. We are going to be spotlighting one of our U.S. healthcare facilities, Northside Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. We are so excited to share with everybody all about Northside, all about Atlanta, Georgia. We have a lot of fun content. We have some amazing guests. So if you have any questions that pop up, please feel free to share in the chat. Please let me know where you're watching from. I love to know where our viewers are watching from. If you are inspired by the show and you want to apply, our recruiters are on hand. They are waiting. ConneticsUSA.com/apply. And we are excited to help you reach your American dream in the United States. So let's bring out our guests. Good morning, everybody. So nice to see your smiling faces.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let's take a moment and do some quick introductions. So Melanie, you want to go first?
Sure, I would love to. Hello, everyone. My name is Melanie Williams. I have been in the Atlanta area since college, and I have worked at Northside since my senior practicum. So I love Northside Hospital. I am currently a clinical educator. I also coordinate the International Nurse Program here at Northside. So I'm super excited to hopefully see some of your faces here in the place. And thank you so much for inviting me this morning.
Wonderful. Wow. Sounds like you've had a lot of experience at Northside, Melanie. So we're very excited to hear all about that. Let's go with Kim Lovely next. I just love your
Hi,
lovely
everyone. Thank you so much. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Kimberly Ann Lovely. You can call me Kimmy. I studied my BSN in University of Cebu, Banilad campus in Cebu City, Philippines. And my only employer prior to Northside is University of Cebu Medical Center. I was there for almost 6 years. I was a staff nurse and promoted as charge nurse, and eventually worked my way up to a clinical nurse educator. And now I'm here in Northside Hospital as one of the GI nurses in medical surgical unit. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for being on, Kimmy. Looks like it's a little windy where you are. Are you in Atlanta now?
Yeah, we're in Atlanta.
Okay, well, we're going to hear all about the weather. I know a lot of people are very curious what the weather is like in the South. But that's great. Lovely to have you on. How long have you been working at Northside?
Oh, this is still my 3rd month, but I'm very happy. Yeah, it was amazing.
That's awesome. Well, we're excited to hear all about it. And last but certainly not least, Ms. Christina.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Christina. I have worked with international nurses for several years now at my previous employer, but now, fortunately, with Northside as well. So at Northside, I've been here for about 3.5, almost 4 years, and I work as the talent acquisition supervisor. So I work with recruitment stateside, but also with our international nurses, and I'm here to support in any way.
Okay, great. Well, we have a lovely panel of experts here today. It sounds like everybody has a lot of experience with Northside, so we are very excited to hear from you all. Before we jump into Northside, I think let's talk a little bit about Atlanta, Georgia. I know for a lot of our nurses who are watching, you've probably heard of California, New York, Texas, kind of those like bigger sort of states that you hear of. What about Atlanta, Georgia? I know some of the amazing things, but I would love you all to share some of the amazing things. There we have our map, and you can see Atlanta, Georgia is located in the southeast. So I'm going to turn it over to you first, Christina. Can you tell us a little bit more about Atlanta and where Northside is located? Oh, looks like maybe Christina froze. Maybe let's turn to Melanie. Oh, no, there she unfroze. You'll get a chance after, Melanie.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Tell us a little bit about Atlanta.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
What's so good about living there?
So Atlanta is a very big metropolis. We were voted 2022 Best Place to Live. We were very culturally diverse, with about 8% of the population is foreign born. There are a variety of things to do, everything from outdoor recreation. We have 5 major sports teams. We have one of the largest aquariums in the world, if not the largest, with the amount of water. So we have a variety. We have all 4 seasons, which is kind of nice. It doesn't get crazy cold, although some might debate that with me a little bit, but we have so many things to do and so many different food options and grocery options. So it definitely makes it exciting for those around here.
Thank you, Christina. Those are a lot of amazing things about Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't even know a lot of those things. I actually have a lot of friends that have moved to Atlanta, Georgia, specifically because the cost of living is so much more affordable and reasonable. I'm in LA, in Los Angeles, California, and I have a lot of friends who have moved to Atlanta, Georgia. Can you talk a little bit about the cost of living, Christina?
So the cost of living is very comparable, or comparable, I guess. We have a lot of people that have moved to the area for that reason, just as you mentioned. Groceries and day-to-day living is very manageable, and housing is also in that aspect, in that group. I know a lot of people that will be coming from overseas will look at the numbers and have a little bit of a shock there, but that's very normal, just because we're looking at different amounts compared to what they were used to. But overall, the entire area is very very cost effective.
That's great to hear. I know that's a big question for a lot of our nurses when they're looking at different areas and comparing different offers. I think we actually have a few graphics to share comparing. I know we have one Los Angeles versus Atlanta, Georgia. So we have that nifty graphic. We can see it's 34% lower than Atlanta. And look at that housing cost, 55% lower. So very, very reasonable. I think we also have one that's New York versus Atlanta, Georgia. And you could see 58% lower cost of living in Atlanta, Georgia than versus New York. Look at that housing cost, almost 79% lower. And look, Miami, Florida versus Atlanta, Georgia, 16% lower. So definitely a very affordable cost of living, something that a lot of our nurses should definitely take into consideration when they are choosing an employer. Let's turn to some of the fun stuff about Atlanta. Melanie, what's your favorite thing to do in Atlanta?
Oh gosh, my favorite thing to do. So I went to college here. So I kind of got all of the experiences. Like I got to feel like a college student in Atlanta, which is really awesome because we have a lot of top universities. Like you guys said, a lot of sports teams. I enjoyed a Braves game last week, but my favorite thing I think is just that it's so diverse. Whatever lifestyle you like to live, whatever type of areas you like to live, you can find that space somewhere in the metro Atlanta area, whether you're in the outskirts or you're in downtown Atlanta. And we have 5 different campuses. So our hospitals also give you the option to kind of live in the metropolitan area and not necessarily in downtown Atlanta. So kind of the best of all the worlds, depending on what you're looking for. So I love the diversity here is my favorite.
Wow, I love that, Melanie. A lot of fun stuff that you mentioned. I know a lot of our nurses are watching with families, so it's very important to consider where it would be good to raise a family. You mentioned that you went to college there. A lot of amazing options in the Georgia area. But thank you for sharing. What about you, Kimmy? What's been your favorite thing so far about Atlanta?
Oh, the very first thing that I love is the weather. Definitely the weather, because it's closely same with the Philippines, except that the weather right now is fall, so it's kind of very cold season right now. So I'm kind of adjusting still. And for the places, my friends and I, the Filipino friends that I have, we discovered a lot of places, especially in the northern part of Georgia. We love the Amicalola Falls. It was so amazing, and we will love to try more different places soon. Yeah.
I love that, Kimmy. Can you tell us a little bit about the weather? You've been there now for 3 months, so
Oh,
you've experienced a couple of different seasons. What does it feel like?
Oh yeah, I've been here for like 3 months, right? But when we arrived here, my sister and I arrived here, it was still summer, so it was fine. Not until the cold front starts. Oh my God, it's really cold right now, and I'm here currently in my balcony just to try to warm up with the weather, trying to feel the breeze. I really love it so far. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. But even cold, I don't think is that cold, right? Because you're not like in the Northeast with snow, but it's cold for you and I, where I'm in California also. So anything that drops below like 50s, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's freezing.
Yeah, it's freezing for me.
I see Melanie shaking her head going like this.
I'm originally from New Jersey, so I grew up in New Jersey. So
you
moving
know
to the
cold.
South, man, I know cold. And I brought my coat here with me when I came, and I sent it back home to my mom. But after a couple years of living here, you go from, oh my God, 20 degrees is cold, to now when it's 55 with the breeze, I'm like, oh,
You need to
it's
put on
chilly.
that parka.
We actually have a joke here in Atlanta that if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute. Because especially in our fall and our winter seasons, we kind of get all four seasons in a day. So you might have winter in the morning, spring in the afternoon, a little bit of summer in that late evening, and then it's like fall and winter again at night. So that is one of the jokes. If you don't like the weather, just wait a minute.
That is so funny. I've never heard that, but that's amazing. So you can get all four seasons in one day.
Yes.
I love that. So if anybody's watching and you're wanting to experience a couple different seasons, but you don't want the snow, Atlanta could be a good option for you. Okay, well, thank you for sharing, Kimmy. I actually see a lot of your fellow countrymen. I see Yali is saying good evening from Manila, Philippines. I see there was a few people from the Philippines. We have Agu, who's watching from Nigeria. We have Minigale, who said Northside represent. I'm thinking maybe Minigale is a Northside nurse. We have Arlene, who's saying home of the dogs. Is that one of the sports teams?
The Georgia Bulldogs, the University of Georgia is one of our big sports teams. So they always say, go dogs.
There you go. So you see that spirit. I love that Atlanta spirit. And people watching from all over. Mohammed from Pakistan. We have Chika from Nigeria. Rhonda from England. So a lot of people from all over the world. We're so happy to have you all here. So I think let's talk just a little bit more, Kimmy, about Atlanta before we switch to Northside, and just tell me, what was it about Atlanta that made you decide to choose that location? Was there like one specific factor, or did you take a lot of factors into consideration? What do you think?
Okay. At first, honestly, Northside is the only hospital that offered my sister and I the contract. So when we chose Northside, when we chose Atlanta in general, we chose Northside, and then after choosing Northside, we searched about the place and all that. We learned that one, there is no snow, because some people may say, "Oh, snow is very hard for people, especially for the Filipino who will be starting their life here." And the second one is we consider the location, because Northside's location is currently in the city, and my sister really loved the city life. We don't really feel the countryside yet, because we are city girls and we're used to living in the city. And third one is the cost of living and the crime rates, because the cost of living is not that high compared to other states. And lastly, the crimes is not that high compared to other states as well. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of factors you took into consideration. So you thought about the cost of living, you thought about the weather, you did not want a white Christmas, you decided no snow for you, and you decided that you wanted to be somewhere with your sister and somewhere that had a good crime rate, not a high crime rate, I should say.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay, and does Atlanta meet all that criteria?
Definitely.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
And I see Melanie shaking her head. She's like, I agree.
I will say we have snow very occasionally. I did have my only white Christmas here in Atlanta, but I'll tell you this, we'll have snow today and there will be no evidence of it tomorrow. Versus growing up in the Northeast, You'll see the snow pushed off to the side of the road for months. Here, it's almost like it never happened. You're like, did I imagine yesterday was like all white and icy, and today it's like sunny and green? It is the weirdest thing.
It's those 4 seasons. So just wait a moment, right?
Just wait a minute.
There you go. Is that what brought you to New Jersey? I mean, not to New Jersey. Is that what brought you to Atlanta from New Jersey? Was the weather?
I love the weather here, and also, like I said, the quality of life here. So if you love the city life, you can have the city life. If you love the quiet country life, you can have that, and everything in between. Also, I have children, and so school systems are important for me, and areas where they have nice parks and places they can ride their bikes. That's huge for me. And we have so many great things like that in the Southeast. And you're so close to Florida, you're close to Alabama. It's just awesome. It really is awesome to live down here.
I love to hear the passion. It sounds like an amazing place. A lot of really great aspects. The family friendly is huge, especially for a lot of nurses that are coming with their families. School systems, crime rates, all of those things are really important to take into consideration. Are you from Atlanta, Christina? Why did you choose to live there?
No, from the Midwest. So I come from pretty much center of the United States. I moved out here to be closer to family because they came out here. Really because it is a lot more diverse, a lot more opportunity. There is a large international airport here. I think it's one of the busiest in the world, to be honest. So the beauty of it is you can get anywhere at the drop of a hat, really. With the airport being very close by and just so many opportunities around. There's always opportunity for growth, to further your education. Melanie was talking about places to go and to see and to do. There's just always something new to go and explore and visit and experience.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I think that settles it. My next move is going to be Atlanta, Georgia.
Welcome.
You guys have sold me. So if anybody has any questions in the chat, please feel free to put them in the chat. Our experts are here. They're excited and willing to answer any questions. I see we have a question from Vincent. Vincent,
yes, that's the one I was going to say.
Okay,
Vincent,
I think Melanie's going to answer that one. Vincent says, are there any mountain bike trails in Atlanta? Melanie?
So yes, there are. Vincent, I actually ride a road bike. That is like one of my favorite things to do. I live near, it's not a mountain trail, but it has mountainous areas. I live near something called the Silver Comet Trail, and it's actually almost 100 miles long, and it's fully paved. It goes from from Georgia all the way to Alabama. Super cool scenery, super cool terrain, but we have all types of mountains. We have cabins in the mountains that you can go stay, bike trails, hiking trails. We have one called Stone Mountain, which is like a mountain of stone. And it's like a park, but it's also a hiking trail. You can ride your bike. I mean, there are some amazing bike trails here. We have like the Beltway, but like I said, that 100-mile one, so cool. Like me and my dad frequently do about 20, 30 miles on the trail, and it's really awesome.
Wow, that is very impressive. Number one, very impressive that you do 20 to 30 miles on a bike trail. I'm very impressed. Number two, Vincent, sounds like you have a biking partner when you come to Northside. Melanie's going to show you all of the cool trails in Northside. So that is awesome. It sounds like a very diverse place, not just with the people, but also just the opportunities, the things you can do in Atlanta, Georgia, a big city, but a little bit of that small town feel, very affordable to live, a great place for families, very safe. So a lot of really, really great selling points. I see everybody kind of nodding their head like, yes, yes, yes. We love it. Okay, so let's turn to cover a little bit about Northside Hospital. So what do our viewers need to know about Northside? Christina, can you start us off?
Of course. So Northside Hospital is composed of a 5-hospital system with about 250 outpatient locations. As you can see, we have about 25,000 employees and many more things to go with that. Our campuses are constantly expanding. So we are hiring for our 5 hospital systems. So that means when interviewing, you have the opportunity of being at our Atlanta campus, which is, you might also hear Sandy Springs for that one. That one is closer to the Atlanta metro area. We also have our Cherokee, Forsyth, and Lawrenceville areas. So Cherokee is up north. So if you're looking for more of that mountainous countryside area, that is our Cherokee campus. It is a beautiful campus, brand new in 2015, I believe. And they are also expanding as we speak. Our Forsyth campus is also north. It's a little closer to home, but it also is a little bit on the countryside, but it is close to everything you need. And then our Lawrenceville campuses, that one's kind of split between our Gwinnett campus and our Duluth campus. Our Gwinnett campus is currently expanding as well. We anticipate some of it to be complete by 2025. And with that comes many, many more beds. And then we have our Duluth campus, which is a smaller campus, but it has all of the needs that we would provide for any patient that comes through. Our main points of hiring right now are mainly acute care, with also our BMT areas. So our acute care has different areas. So we have general medicine, post-surgical, orthopedics, GI, neuroscience, telemetry, and then also our BMT, so bone marrow transplant. I did see somebody ask about NICU. Northside is very well known for our maternity side. However, we are not currently hiring for those areas. So to answer Antoinette. So yeah, that's a little bit about Northside.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Christina. So a lot of good background. So they have 5 locations, and they are going to be hiring for a lot of different locations. They're going to be hiring a lot of different specialties. I think we have a graphic that has all of those specialties listed, so we'll get that pulled up. There we go. And we're going to talk a little bit about the 250 RNs they've already hired and their future planning. I know Kimmy's talked a little bit about the Filipino community there. We're going to get into that. And there we have the nursing specialties they need. We're going to talk about their orientation plan. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. Before we jump into the nitty gritty, Melanie, I want to hear from you. What makes Northside special? What does Northside offer that other hospitals don't offer? What made you stay? Because you said you did, I think you said you did your clinicals there, right?
I did. And I actually had another hospital in mind coming into my senior practicum that I was going to work at. I knew ultimately I wanted to come to Northside. I spent most of my time in labor and delivery. So yay to women's services. Most of my time in labor and delivery. Northside Atlanta actually delivers the most babies in the United States. And in 2016, we delivered the most in the world. So I knew eventually I would make my way here. But when I came, we had all of the things. We had good ratios. We had all of the equipment. We had beautiful facilities. The teamwork is amazing. And we have a culture of caring. And I think that has been my favorite throughout, because not just for our patients, of course, that is what we're here for, but we care for each other. It really is like my family away from home. And if you're going to spend half of your life at work, I think it should feel like that, especially because it's really difficult working in healthcare. We are the people that help the people, right? So it's nice to have that same feedback from your coworkers that kind of help you through that. So I really love working at Northside.
I love that, Melanie. Your family away from home. I think in any job that you're considering, you're going to be spending a lot of time with the people that you're with, and you want to make sure that you're with a community that you really feel comfortable with, that you really love. And I can tell from your passion that you're really happy there. And clearly you've stayed for so long, so you must be really happy there.
Almost 10 years I've been here. Almost 10
years. Wow. Well, congrats for you for that. That's amazing. So that's a testament for anybody watching. I think if you see somebody has been in an organization for many years, you know that they really believe in the organization's mission. So thank you for sharing that, Melanie. Kimmy, can you tell us a little bit about your experience working with Northside overall? I know it's only been a couple months, but how's it been?
Oh my God. I know it's been a couple of months still, but I can feel a sense of family. Miss Melanie really said it clearly, a culture of care for each other, not just for your patients, but also to your employees. I feel really loved, especially to my American co-staff. They are there for me whenever I have questions. They clarified it for me because the only thing that my background is in the Philippines, so I have no idea any culture differences from any other countries. So when I started in Northside, I feel welcome, and you know, I love my co-staff, the Filipino co-staff and my American co-staff. They are very helpful and very knowledgeable to everything that I am asking for them. Yeah.
I love that, Kimmy. That's so beautiful to hear that you can rely on your
Yeah.
American co-staff. I know for a lot of international nurses that I speak to, they're really nervous. Like, how am I going to be accepted? What are my American counterparts how are they going to feel about me? You're going to say something.
Yeah,
Is that exactly what you were thinking?
Oh my God. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, will they like me? Will they like my humor? Because sometimes I'm very talkative, but sometimes. So good thing my friends, my crew in the morning shift, in the AM shift, especially to Miss Esmeralda, my preceptor, hey, and Miss Somi. I love them. They are very fun to be with. So I think they like me. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they do. It sounds like everybody has a really good community there at Northside. So that's so good. And it sounds like you were nervous about coming in because you were worried about how you would be accepted and what it was going to be like coming as a Filipino nurse and what your American counterparts what was going to be like. How has that been for you?
Being a Filipino, being the first nurse Filipino here in Northside I think this is the first time. I'm not sure but this is the first time in my unit. So they are also learning the qualities that we have. So that's why it's kind of the pressure. We are the first batch, right? So the pressure is really um high because we are setting up an expectations. Oh, Filipino nurses are like this, Filipino nurses are like that. So as the first person who get to interact with the American nurses in Northside, it's really nice because I get to give them the best side, the cute side, and the sad side of being a Filipino. So that's why I'm trying to be open book for them so that they will understand where I'm coming from, what is the Philippines, and that's it.
That's great, Kimmy. I think that's a great attitude. I mean, you're stepping in it with the right foot. And I'm sure your coworkers, it sounds like you guys are getting along very well. So that's awesome. That's so great to hear. What do you?
I was just going to say, although Kimmy may be the first group that has arrived in the U.S. through our program, we do have, on the topic of diversity, we do have a lot of Filipinos within Northside. Some of you that have interviewed previously may have met some of our managers that are from the Philippines. They just came through other means.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina. That's great to hear. Can you that's a perfect pivot. Can you tell us a little bit just about Northside's hiring of international nurses, why you guys decided to do it? And, I think you have a lot of nurses that are planning to come and you have a lot more you're planning to recruit. Is that right?
Yes. So we are very excited for this program and are so glad that the nurses that have arrived so far have been enjoying their time and have hit the ground running, have been doing phenomenal. So Northside decided to start recruiting international nurses, really to prepare ourselves for the future. As we continue to grow, as I mentioned earlier, with our 5 campuses, we need nurses, experienced nurses that can come and take care of our patients and our community. So we strive to hire nurses that meet our values. We want professionals that are looking to provide top quality care through excellence, compassion, service. teamwork and community and innovation. So we are constantly looking for nurses that are looking to grow, to provide that excellence in care, and to be a part of our Northside community. You'll hear time and time again when you come here, we are a team, we're a family. We might have 25,000 employees, but it's like, you know everyone, even though you've maybe never seen them once in your life. So we're here to support not only as Northside, but as a community. As big as Atlanta may be, I feel like there's a closeness to it. I come from a smaller town, so it's almost like you sometimes get that small town feel still. Just feeling that there's always a support or always someone there that can guide you towards the next step that you may be looking for. Just because you come to Northside and start in one position doesn't mean you can't grow to the next. So, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that, Christina. I think that's a lot of good information for our nurses. I think Melanie really said it best, family away from home. I love that. And I can hear from what Christina's saying. She said there's 25,000 employees, but you kind of know everybody. It's that small town feel, but still in that big metropolitan city. So it's that best of both worlds. So thank you for sharing that. I see a lot of people in the chat asking where to send my CV. Everybody's excited about Northside. So if you're excited about Northside, you can apply at conneticsusa.com/apply. Our recruiters are on hand. They are waiting and they are excited to slot you into the Northside interviews so we can get you in there. So let's turn to you, Kimmy. So global nurses have a lot of choices these days. There's a lot of hospitals that are recruiting. We know that there is a growing nurse shortage. What do you think really should attract a nurse to Northside? Why did you choose Northside?
Because okay, firstly, when my sister and I tried to do research back in the Philippines, it's there's only a few contents when we read something about Northside, so I did a little more deeping. So when I discovered the Northside, as what Miss Christina said, they have a lot of hospitals affiliated, and also a culture of care. They're really proud of that, and I can attest to that they really are have the culture of care for each other and for their patients, and also it's a very diverse community as well. They not only for Filipinos, but there are a lot of international employees are also affiliated with Northside, and Northside. What else? I love it. I mean, they're also affiliated with JCI, so they can make you. They will Northside will be a very great training background for any nurses that will be deciding to stay with them.
Okay, thank you, Kimmy. So I think you said it. I love this. You said a culture of care. So
Yeah.
I think that really speaks to Northside. Clearly, you can tell all of you really care about your coworkers. You really care about your patients. So if you are watching this and you want to go to a place that has that care, that family feel, sounds like Northside might be a really good fit for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing some questions in the chat about the green card process, about retrogression. I see Diana says, is it under the EB3 category? So I'm just going to answer quickly for everybody who might be watching. We're not going to talk about we're not going to talk about retrogression on this show. We have an immigration Q&A with our attorney experts once a month, so feel free to check that out. But for any nurses who are wondering, this sounds great, how do I make this happen for myself? We have our success path, which you can find on our conneticsusa.com website. And there is some great information there on how you're going to get to America. We'll run through it real quick. Number one, you need to pass your NCLEX. So if you're watching and you're thinking, how do I get started? That is your golden ticket. You need to pass your NCLEX. Once you've passed your NCLEX, you can move to step 2. This is where you prepare for the interview. This is where you're going to tell our recruiters, I watched Christina, Melanie, and Kimmy on the Onwards and Upwards show, and I really want to come to Northside. They're going to slot you in for an interview. You're going to meet your interviewers, hopefully get a job offer, and you're going to move to step 3. This is the visa framework. The Connetics team is going to help you with the visa process, which is going to be an EB3 green card. We're going to help you with the licensing and credentialing. Make sure you get your license to practice in Georgia. Once you are approved for a green card, you are going to move to step 5, which is the Get Ready game plan. We're going to talk a little bit about the Northside orientation, but Connetics also has different programs to help get you ready for the transition. And step 6, this is going to be the arrival sequence. This is where you do your happy dance. You've touched down in Atlanta, Georgia. You've reached your American dream. Connetics is going to be there to support you throughout the whole process. We have a concierge service that's someone to pick you up and help you get around. I know Kimmy's going like this. She experienced that. And then step 7, which is enjoy and prosper. And that's our goal for all of our nurses, like the lovely Kimmy, who is now 3 months into her journey. So we love that. Exactly. That's exactly what we want for all of our nurses. So let's talk a little bit about how Northside supports their international nurses. Christina, can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So as Danielle mentioned, we partner with Connetics and AMN to ensure a smooth transition from the get-go. So we do work with their concierge service to ensure that housing and getting those initial steps taken care of so that you feel confident and comfortable in starting in the area or living in the area. From that point on, you would connect with our team to complete your onboarding, and then you would eventually get to meet Melanie upon start and your team within the department. So Melanie heads our education piece for this program. So she goes over all of the orientation and then also does a lot more. So she has been a wonderful contribution to this program. Just the other day, we had a meeting just a kind of overview of different opportunities within Northside, making sure that everyone felt like they were adjusting well and knew what benefits we had available to them throughout the system. And then as far as the community goes, there are always opportunities within the community for additional support and growth.
Okay, great. So I think you touched on something really important there, Christina. You talked a little bit about the training that the nurses are going to be getting once they start working with Melanie. Melanie, can you talk a little bit about that? What kind of training do you offer to the international RNs?
Absolutely. So the idea behind our training path was really to kind of give that global experience. A lot of our nurses that graduate in the States get to experience the hospital culture when they do their clinical rotations for school. So what was important to me looking at this program was for our international nurses for our global nurses to get that same experience. So we, of course, do the typical things like our BLS training for CPR and things of that nature. And what we did was we kind of married the experienced nurse pathway for the different disciplines with our new resident pathway and kind of cherry picked what we felt our global nurses would need, right? So we do these classes called transition to practice classes, which basically talks about your role as the nurse and what that looks like in our healthcare system, and even more so what that looks like here at Northside. We do some education in terms of like early recognition and what you do about patients that are on telemetry when you get a reading that you may not know what it means or what to do about it. We teach you about that. We also do unit-specific training. So depending on if you go to the neuro floor, the GI floor, our BMT unit, you get your unit-specific training. So for example, Kim is on the GI unit. So a bulk of their patients come in through the ED. They go to something called the GI lab where they get a lot of procedures. So we made sure in that experience, they got to shadow in the emergency department to see what that incoming process looks like. They got to shadow in the GI lab to see what goes on down there. We do cross training with the the other support staff on the unit. So to see what your patient care techs do and your secretary does, because those roles are very different depending on where you come from. So given that global experience, and then we also do simulation experiences. We do skills day. And I am kind of a bonus in that I work with each nurse individually to see if outside of the things that we've already decided for this pathway, if they need any reinforcement, extra training, extra time to come in and look through the computer system and things of that nature, I get the opportunity to give those experiences. Like Christina was saying the other day, we had a breakfast and learn just for the international nurses where they got to have someone that teaches about our electronic medical system. They got to talk to them about that and get tips and tricks. And they got to talk to Christina and the HR team about different benefits here at Northside, and just really giving that kind of rolling out the red carpet in that, helping you not only acclimate to our hospital, but our culture, the area, bringing you into the Northside family. So it's very cool. And again, depending on the unit and the discipline that you work in, depends on the specific training. But we give you all of the things that you need to prepare you for the floor that you're going to and the patient population you'll be taking care of.
Wow. Okay. So a very robust program. So that's amazing. For any nurses who are watching and may have missed any of what Melanie said, it sounds like they have a very robust training program at Northside, but also a very individual training program. I love that you said that they have access to you individually and you meet with the nurses to determine where they are on their own path. Because sometimes it can be scary to speak up and, you know, really let your whoever your clinical educator know where you are in your process, especially coming from another country. So that's amazing that they have that individual access to you. Kimmy, what's your experience been like with the training and with the orientation?
Oh, for the training and orientation, it was great. The first challenge that I experienced was the computer documentation, because back in the Philippines we only have paper documentation. So having that kind of training here prior to starting my work as a staff RN, it makes me feel confident that knowing that we have this kind of training for computer documentation, because it's really gonna take your time learning and all those stuff. And also, the one thing I also love about we also have two types of training. We have CBLs, which is you can do it at the comfort of your home, and you're also paid for it. And you also have this on-site training, wherein, as what Miss Melanie said, they will be the one to teach us about simulations, about BLS, ACLS, and all those things. So all those knowledge and skills from the training, it can give you more confidence, so that once you start working at the bedside, you have no problem with it anymore. So yeah.
Okay, good. So it sounds like you had a lot of training. You had the remote option, you had the in-person option. So you felt really prepared when you started working.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. I see Kimmy shaking her head yes. So that's great. I see a lot of questions in the chats. It's going off. I see everybody's got questions about Northside, about Atlanta. That's so exciting. I love to see that everybody's loving the show or loving our guests. I see Aaron from Northside is answering a lot of the questions, which is great. I think there's quite a few questions that maybe the Northside team could take just to answer in general. It seems like there's a lot of questions about apartments and a lot of questions about schools. So Melanie, maybe you could take the questions about schools, because it sounds like you've got kids. So maybe this is something that was important to you. Are there good schools in the area? What do parents need to know about Atlanta?
Yes, so the school systems are awesome. I feel like just like with anywhere, you have exceptional and you have okay, and then everything in between. I live in something called Cobb County, which is right on the outskirts of Atlanta, and they have excellent school systems. They do in a lot of our counties here, and you can do public, you can do private, but that was super important for me in terms of quality of life, having those good schools. And so Google searches are very helpful. They do a really great job ranking them. For me, I have a high schooler and I have a 1-year-old, so don't judge me. But for my high schooler, it was important for me to have a middle school, high school combo that both poured into students and had a level of excellence. And there are so many school systems here that are awesome. The teachers are great. My daughter's kindergarten teacher, it was her 45th year teaching the year she had my daughter. So lots of experience. Again, I've had great experiences with the education system here in Atlanta.
Wow, amazing. I also have a 1-year-old, so I love that. It's a fun age. And is the public school system free for nurses? Do they
Yes.
need to worry about paying for school?
Nope, public school is free. A lot of them even have after school programs that you could qualify for, that you could also get for free or get like scholarships for and things of that nature. The only way you pay for elementary education is if you choose a private school. But they even have charter schools, which are also kind of in between that public and that private education. Those are also free. So kindergarten through 12th grade should be free unless you choose a private school that comes with tuition, and you would know that upon choosing that school.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that, Melanie. I know a lot of parents in the chat thinking about schools, school systems, where to send their kids. So a lot of good advice there. Let's talk a little bit about apartments. Kimmy, what was your experience with looking for an apartment? I see a lot of questions just asking about general costs. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Oh, okay. Actually, the current apartment that my sister and I have, is my second apartment already, because the first apartment was in Roswell Road. It's just 5 minutes drive from Northside Hospital. The apartments near Roswell Roads are very cheap. For a 1 bedroom, I think it's around, I'm not sure, but the range is like 1,000 to $1,200. So it's very cheap compared to the one nearest, in Northside. So, but you're paying for everything. You're paying a great amount of money for the apartment that can offer you a lot. Also, the apartment that I'm currently staying with my sister now is just a 5 minute, 3 minute drive from Northside. And if you decided to just walk from Northside, you can just walk for like around 5 minutes, and you're already there in Northside. And what I love, the current apartment that my sister and I have is very accessible. The parking is amazing. Because it has an individual, um, access to the parking garage, because we have this individual, access for the parking with the parking, what do you call that, parking key. So yeah, but the near the apartment that is near to Northside is quite, what do you call that, challenging for the price, because it ranges from the 1 bedroom. It ranges around 1,900 to 2,000. So, but there's no problem when you're already here, especially when you're already working in Northside. There's no problem in paying the bills now.
Okay, thank you, Kimmy. So that's some good information for our nurses who are considering apartments in different locations. And just for comparison's sake, so I mentioned I'm in Los Angeles, California. For a 1-bedroom apartment, when you mentioned $1,000, I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, in Los Angeles, California, for a very basic apartment, not nice, not upgraded, nothing like that, it's maybe like 2,500 to 3,000 just for a 1-bedroom that's in like an okay area and an okay apartment. So sounds like you have got a lot of choices in Atlanta for a lot more reasonable and affordable cost.
And I just want to chime in on that a little bit, with our outlying campuses. So we have our Gwinnett, Lawrenceville area, our Forsyth, and our Cherokee campuses. Aaron has mentioned it a little bit in the chat here. As you go out further outside of the city, the apartments do become a little cheaper. Now, you may not be able to walk to the campus necessarily, but there are a lot of opportunities out there as well. So, as far as finding apartments and things like that, there are always options out there. And it may not be an apartment. Maybe if you come with a larger family, you might choose to get a townhouse or a duplex. So there are other options or to consider in that aspect.
Wow, that's amazing to hear, Christina. So if you missed what Christina said and you heard what I said with the numbers, Christina said there might even be more affordable apartments as you go further out of the city. So that is pretty wow. I mean, I got to get out of the city, clearly.
I was gonna say, my
yeah.
mortgage, like if you can rent houses or even when you guys are looking to buy, my mortgage is cheaper than most of the average apartments. And I have a whole house with a backyard and all the things. So very reasonable housing here.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Melanie. Especially, I'm sure a lot of families that are watching and thinking, I might want a backyard too. I might want more space for my kids to run around. Sounds like Atlanta, Georgia could be a very good area for you to look into. So I know we've just got a few minutes left, and there were a couple of other topics I wanted to cover. Christina, can you talk a little bit about what programs Northside offers for career growth? I know Melanie's been there for quite a long time, which is amazing. But what can the trajectory kind of look like for an international nurse? What other options do they have?
So once somebody starts with Northside, we do ask that they complete their contract on the unit that they were hired at. Once that's complete, or even while you're with Northside, you can start preparing for your next step. I know from previous experience, many nurses go back to maybe get their master's in whatever area that they're looking for, whether it just be a master's in nursing or their NP program. But we have so many universities and so many advanced education opportunities in the area that the options are endless. I can't even begin to explain that piece of it. But as Northside, we offer so many benefits, coming to the United States, some of it may seem a little unique, but we have our retirement, which is our 403B, plus a pension. We are one of the only hospitals that offer that pension. Our healthcare benefits are there, but then with the school aspect, we offer tuition reimbursement, student loan repayment, which are two separate things that you can take advantage of. And then we also pay for certifications. So if you want to get specialized in something through a certification, we do offer compensation. I mean, we offer to pay for that certification to add that to your knowledge base. So opportunities for growth and advancement are there. If you want to get into leadership or if you want to explore other areas, we have that available.
Okay, thank you, Christina. So sounds like a lot of opportunities that you guys help promote the RN career growth. So that's great to hear. A lot of different avenues that our nurses could consider. So we are coming in close to the hour. I want to give everybody a chance just to share any final pieces of advice, anything that our international nurses who are watching the show should know about Northside or about Atlanta or anything that they should just really consider. I'm going to turn to you first, Kimmy. What do you think? Now looking back on your past 3 months, you've gone through the process, you're living your American dream. What do you want to share with the nurses?
First, this is my first advice is if you're ready to come here in the United States, be prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. Because if you're not ready, even just in just one aspect, it's gonna be hard for you. It's gonna be hard for you, and if you really want to live your American dream, just what my sister and I did, be prepared to leave your family, to leave your comfort zone, because everything in the United States is so different from what we used to see in the movies. We're currently my friends and I, my Filipino team and I, have no doubt, and we are very happy that we chose Northside Hospital because I have no words for them. They really help us build and start our American dreams so well. They teach us so well. They care for us. Everything. I just can't. Then we can really see ourselves staying in Northside for a couple of years, not just for 3 years. And then my own another advice also is, if you can, then if you can, try to research more of the hospital that someone might offer you, and try to leave your current expectations. I'm sorry. What I mean is, I'm sorry. I'm out of words. Um, if you are traveling if you are currently a nurse in, not just in the Philippines but in the other country as well, try to save up more money so that you can live comfortably here in the United States. And also, last advice is, live your life and enjoy life, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Kimmy. I can tell you got a little bit choked up there. I'm sure it's been
Yeah.
a long road for you to come to the US.
Yeah.
It's a very intense, exciting, but also scary transition. And it sounds
Yeah.
like you felt a lot of support from the Northside team, from the Connetics team, and you knew that you were never alone throughout your journey. But I think that's some great advice for international nurses to take into consideration. So thank you for sharing, Kimmy. Melanie, I see you nodding your head like this. I think you agree. Have you got any final words of advice for any nurses who are considering Northside?
Absolutely. I would definitely say, to kind of piggyback off of what Kim said, give yourself grace in this process, because when you come over here, sometimes it's like a hurry up and wait kind of process. But just know we are here. We are waiting to support you in this transition. I saw several people asking about our ratios. For med surge, our average ratios are between 4 and 6 patients, depending on your unit. For example, if you're on like one of our neuro step down units, their ratios a lot of times are 3 to 4 patients. And then as you get more specialized, those get less and less. But the maximum patients I've ever taken on my med surge floor was 6 patients. And so, like I said, it usually averages 4 to 6. We also have preceptor programs, so you can start in leadership and start teaching other nurses. If clinical leadership and development is what you're looking for, Northside is awesome. Very home team. We will grow you through the process. We will give you all of the tools that you need. Like Christina said, with the tuition reimbursement, with paying for certifications and things like that. It is very awesome when you kind of join that aspect of nursing and you get to help other people grow through that. So hopefully we'll get to see you guys. Hopefully you can come and join us for our 4 seasons. But thank you again for allowing me to be here this morning.
Thank you for joining us, Melanie. Love that. And Christina, I know we're almost at the hour. Any quick final piece of advice?
Absolutely. We are ready to welcome anyone that's coming. I can't even imagine what it's like to pack everything you have into a couple of suitcases and come over. But the thing is, we are here to support you. I encourage, just from past experience, don't come over expecting to stay on your own. Make sure you reach out, connect with people, make friends. It'll be a vital part of adjusting to the big change. But for those that are looking to apply, please connect with Connetics AMN to make sure that we get your applications and we can get you on our interview schedules. And hopefully we see you soon. So thank you for having us.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you to Christina and Melanie and Kimmy for being with me today. I think the nurses that are watching worldwide are so excited about Northside, so excited about Atlanta, Georgia. So if you want to apply, it's conneticsusa.com/apply. You see everybody's going like this. They all want you to come. Our recruiters are on hand and they are excited to get you interviewed. So thank you to the Northside team. If you're looking for a family away from home, sounds like Northside would be a great fit for you. There, they're going like this. Okay, so before we leave, let's bring up our upcoming shows on Connetics. We have our Onwards and Upwards shows every Friday at 7 a.m. We have our immigration Q&A next week, and then we're going to be doing a special show on the TN visa next on October 27th. We also have a few shows coming up in November, the How to Handle Workplace Bullying, Retirement for Nurses, and an immigration Q&A. And then we have another career day coming up in December, December 1st. So make sure to check out that career day. We also have our Connetics College, which are free shows every Monday at 6 a.m. Pacific with our partners Aspire RN, Swoosh, Niners, and iPass. So make sure to check out those free shows to learn all about what you need to know about the NCLEX and the English. And then we have our Connetics initiatives. So our usual list with free English scholarship. If you are a nurse who needs to take the English, you can get a free English review course if you are in the Connetics nurse program. We have a $500 referral fee, which has been extended until December 31st. So make sure to take advantage of that. You can refer your friends on our website. We have our podcast, our direct hire program, our live show, which is every Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific, our Connetics College every Monday at 6 a.m. Pacific. And we are also hiring for allied professionals. If you are any one of those allied professionals, you can go to our website, conneticsusa.com/apply, and our recruiters are on hand and excited to help you. So thank you again to the Northside team. It was a pleasure to meet you all this morning. What a wonderful show, so informative. And we are just excited to recruit more nurses for you. So conneticsusa.com/apply. The Northside team is excited to have you, and the Connetics team is excited to help you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So thank you and have a great rest of your day. Onwards and upwards as usual. Thanks everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.